Hey, this is Mark Adams at James Lick High School. In this video, we're going to create an assignment. Now, there are two places this can happen. You can create assignments in the modules, and you can create assignments in assignments. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to go through both processes, but we'll start with assignments. So click on Assignments in the left side navigation, and then you have your groups. Now, you can add an assignment by clicking on the plus sign, and that assignment will be created for that group. So I'll click on the plus sign here, and I get this small window. It's very limited, but it does have the essential information, the name of the assignment, the due date, the point value, and down here, this is typically already pre-selected. Now, what ends up happening when you do it this way, most teachers just click on More Options to get the actual assignment creation window. But let's go back to assignments. And to get that window without having to go through that double click method, let's click on the plus assignment over here in the upper right, and it goes directly to that window. So let's give it, and by the way, this is how most teachers typically do it. So let's give this a title, and let's write our directions here. And these directions can be as extensive as you want. You can provide links, you can provide videos, you can connect to docs that are already in Canvas. It's a great place to develop the instructions because very often you're going to use these assignments year after year. So a little bit of effort at the front end just allows you to give more information to students, and next year you'll just copy the assignment and maybe modify it a little bit. So we'll give our directions here. Then we want to give our point value here, so I'll type in 50. Now, Canvas will remember the settings from your last created assignment. So if you see a number here, that's just because Canvas remembered that you did it one way previously. And that can speed things up if you're constantly creating assignments with the same point values. But you just change the point value here. It also will remember your last setting for the assignment group. But if you want to change that, you just click on the drop-down menu here and you select the category that you want this assignment to be in, and then display grade. Points is typically how teachers do it. If you want to learn about these other ways to display the grade, you can read the instructor guide in Canvas, and I'll show you how that works. But very typically, teachers just go with points. I'm going to skip this. I don't find this a very useful tool, even if you're giving out practice work. And then there's submission type. Now, when you do your first assignment, I think no submission will be selected, but let's talk about what these different types are. So first off, no submission means they're doing an assignment, but there's nothing to actually turn in. So maybe they're doing a group presentation and they're not handing you anything. The other way is on paper. So if students are doing a worksheet or they're writing something on a piece of paper, you would select on paper, and this lets the student know that it's on paper. And then the most typical choice will be online, and this is for digital submissions. Now, if the students are going to turn in an assignment that's created in their Google Drive, a doc, a sheet, slides, or any file they have online from their Google Drive, you're going to click on File Uploads. This gets a lot of use in our school, and it'll probably get a lot of use at your school. But let's go over these different options. All right, text entry. What the students will see is a small window where they can just write out a response to, say, a question, or they can just write out a response to an assignment. So they just do the assignment in Canvas. There are some formatting tools, but this really wouldn't be a place to write an essay. You would probably want your students to create a Google Doc to write an essay. Website URL, that's where they would copy and paste a URL, and then you would click on that, and then you would grade it, you would view it. Okay, now you're going to notice that you can actually click on multiple. So I'm just going to go through each of these though. All right, media recordings. Now this is if you want students to use the built-in tools. So this would be the audio recording tool or the video recording tool. They're very simple, but they're very quick and easy to use, and they're easy to grade, because if students, like say for example, do an audio recording and they use the built-in tool, when you go in the speed grader, all you have to do is hit the play button. If you're going to have your students upload, say, an MP3 or a video file, you can do that by clicking on File Uploads. And then you would have the file link, and then you would click on it, and then you would view it or listen to it. So again, media recordings is only if you want students to use the basic tools within Canvas, but it's actually kind of a great way to grade a simple audio recording or a simple video because you can just hit the play button in the speed grader. Student annotation, I haven't done a lot with this yet, so this will be something I have to learn this year, so we'll just kind of skip over that for now. And again, file uploads. This is how students will connect to their Google Drive and submit digital files. This is probably going to be like one of the main buttons that you press. You can restrict file upload types, and I will do that if that becomes a problem. If students are trying to submit files that I just can't view, then I will restrict those files. But very typically, students are just connecting to their Google Drive, they're submitting docs, so I don't really have to worry about this one too much. All right, so we had some other options. We had no submission, that's if they're just doing something in the class that you're going to grade. On paper, if they're turning something in on paper, and then online, and then there's external tool. There's lots of different external tools. Turnitin is one of them. Those would be a subject for another video, but this would be where you would find the tool that you want to use for them, and you would select one of those. But again, this is a little more of a deeper dive. It's a great tool, and you'll learn how to do it, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to focus on the main one, which is online file uploads. You can limit the number of submission attempts. Most teachers find this is unnecessary, and leaving it as unlimited just makes it a lot simpler if you want a student to revise something and resubmit, and then say you want them to revise again and resubmit. They can just keep doing that process until the assignment closes. The other way to limit assignment attempts, or at least the time period, is to have an until date. So this is work they can turn in perhaps late, but it'll close on a certain date. We'll talk about this down here. Again, most teachers do actually leave this as blank or as unlimited. All right, group assignment, that's a topic for another video, but that would be the option here. And then peer reviews, that would also be a topic for another video. You'll want to leave this one selected. It'll probably remember your last setting anyway. If you don't do that, you can just do it from the assignments as well, or you can edit this assignment. All right, let's talk about assign to. The default is everyone, which is very typically how you'll do something. So I have 4 sections of English 3. I'm going to create one assignment. I can just have it assigned to everyone, and then I can apply the due date. Due dates are important, and because that's how Canvas knows whether an assignment goes in the first semester or it goes into the second semester. So and it'll also require you to put a due date. School starts on the 9th, so I can't have a due date obviously before then. I'm just going to pick the 18th. Now here I can just stop and I can hit save or save and publish. I don't have to use the unavailable from and the until, but let's talk about what those do. So this assignment is due on the 18th. Let's say that I want students to be able to see it obviously before it's due, but I want them to see it on this Monday on the 15th. So I can control that. I can even put the exact time that I want them to do that. A lot of teachers just leave that blank. And then the until would be, okay, so the assignment was due on the 18th, but you give them until a certain date to do something. And so you would select that here. So, I don't know, September 22nd. And then after September 22nd, they cannot submit an assignment. So that's how that works. And if you want a student to submit an assignment, then you would have to create this assignment for them, which, let's talk about that. Let's say I only want this to be for one of my periods. So let's deselect everyone else. So I can create this assignment for period 1. I can also have period 2 do this assignment. I can type in a student's name and only the student do that assignment. So I can really narrow this down in any number of ways. The typical setting is everyone, but I can also do it for the different sections. Now, if you're on a block schedule, let's say you want period 1 and it's due on the 18th, but the other, let's say, I don't know, another course period is actually not going to meet till the 19th. You can click add here, And then you can give that assignment. So let's say they're not going to be able to turn it in until the 19th. So I can even break it down that way, and I can set those as well. And of course, I can also just type in a student's name. I'm just randomly typing in a student here, and I can assign that student their own due date. So a lot of power here, but sorry about that little scroll action there. But very typically, teachers are just going to apply it to everyone. Let's deselect that one. And then you would hit save or save and publish. Now save, the students can't see it. Save and publish means they can see this assignment. So I'm going to click, let's deselect that one. All right, here we go, save and publish. Now I'm going to have to very quickly delete this assignment because I don't want my students to see an assignment called title. But there is the process for creating an assignment in the assignments. Now in the modules, it's a little bit different. So let's go to modules. Let's see if I have any modules set up. I don't, so let's just create a sample module real quick. Typically we already have this done. Now I can add an assignment by clicking on the plus sign here and go create assignment. There's going to be a little bit of steps involved here, so we'll just call this sample assignment. So I actually have to create the assignment first and add it, and then I have to go back and edit it. So there's a little extra step here, but that's how that works, and I would click edit here, and then I would go through the same process. And you'll notice that the link now is assignments because I'm now in assignment mode. So we'll go back to the modules, and there's that assignment. All right, so very simple video on how to create assignments. And if you have any questions, definitely consult your site lead and definitely consult the instructor guides.